Are you paying attention?
I'm thinking of selling this house. I could sell this for 30, 35 million. I want to get 10 million into Bitcoin because I think this is your last chance. It's going to trade closer to $1 million. It's going to trade at a capitalization greater to gold. And when it trades at $1 million, Bitcoin is boring. It's gold. But it's not.
Some of the biggest gold bugs in the world are ditching the yellow coin for the orange coin. Meanwhile, you have the New York Times saying that you don't actually have a right to a bank account. Let me help you see the larger backdrop of all things in the world moving towards a Bitcoin standard all at once. I'm going to be sharing some secret alpha dropped from one of the most famous gold bugs and macro traders in the world, and why he's selling his gold, his house, and everything to buy Bitcoin. This is Dante Cook with Bitcoin Simply. Let's go. Every single day, more and more use cases are proving why the world is moving towards a Bitcoin standard. Like the Dolphin Visa card from Aqua Bitcoin, which will allow you to spend Bitcoin and liquid Bitcoin at any merchant, frictionlessly and seamlessly, like you would anything else. But even without a card, that didn't stop thousands of people from showing up at Steak and Shakes all across the United States and paying for their meals with Bitcoin. The thing that makes Bitcoin magical is it not only has properties of a medium of exchange, but as a store of value. And that store of value use case is not just for US investors, but investors globally.
If you look at American companies or the S&P 500, yes, people around the world own them, but they're predominantly owned by Americans. Bitcoin is got amazing distribution in terms of its ownership around the world. So if you say to yourself, if 50 or 60% of the people that currently own Bitcoin believe it's an asset class, will they continue to buy Bitcoin? Will they continue to hold Bitcoin? Will they recommend it as an allocation in portfolios? If that's the case, then $200,000 is too low for Bitcoin. Something like $500,000 would be there.
And this is why a $200,000 price target is just too low for Bitcoin. Even Bloomberg knows it. They switched their price notation on their terminal to say 0.1 million. Bitcoin is being endorsed subtly and loudly from all levels. Eric Trump, Donald Trump's son, the president, said that he's all in on Bitcoin. He can't stop talking about it. Bitcoin mining, American energy dominance, and the United States becoming the Bitcoin capital of the world.
Everything that I love in life, right? America and Bitcoin. I really believe in the digital asset space. It's growing by leaps and bounds. There's so few people who have really caught on to what that world's going to be, the digital transformation. And Bitcoin is obviously leading the way in terms of that transformation. And to be able to mine Bitcoin in the United States using US energy, to be able to do so at a fraction of cost of what the actual asset is trading at right now, it's kind of bringing together my love of hard assets, real estate, kind of data centers right on one side, and obviously a cryptocurrency that's kind of led the way and has been explosive in terms of growth. And so it's been a great project. It's one that I'm very excited about. I put my heart and soul into it, and we're having a lot of fun.
And why take it public so early? What does the public market give you at this point?
Well, listen, I think you want that exposure, right? There's a lot of things that the public market gives you. It gives you access to capital. It gives you ATM. You see how well the MicroStrategy model has done. Michael Saylor, I think, in this community has probably inspired every single person in this room by what he's been able to achieve. We're obviously a very different spin-off of that, in that we're not buying it OTC. We're actually going out and creating it, mining it, and doing that very efficiently. We're doing that with HOD8. They're an amazing company. They've got some of the best data centers anywhere. They've got some of the best energy contracts anywhere. And again, it's just great passion of love bringing together kind of two elements of the world that I adore.
Now, one of the things the president said on the campaign trail was that he wanted all future Bitcoin to be mined in the U.S. What's your view on that goal and that ambition? And two, are you looking to make yourself the biggest Bitcoin mining company in the country?
Yeah, well, if I wasn't and if we weren't, I think we'd be falling awfully short. I think we can be, and I think we're going to be there awfully quickly. So that's obviously our aspirations. And we're a very American family, and we want America to do everything the best, right? Not that I don't spend a tremendous amount of time all around the world. I'm in real estate. This is what I do every day. But we want America to lead the world with everything. My father's wanted America to lead the world with the digital revolution. He certainly wants America to lead the world in terms of low-cost energy production, because that's good for every industry, that's good for every citizen. is certainly good for Bitcoin mining. And so I think we have the potential to do it. I mean, Mackenzie, try and mine Bitcoin in the UK right now. Like good luck, right? You'll be so underwater it's not even funny. Yet, you can go to Texas, you can get natural gas that's getting flared off of oil wells. You can get it for effectively free. You combine that with all the solar power that they have out there, all the wind power, all the wind generation that they have in West Texas. And there are times where you can literally have basically free energy, which gives the United States such a great competitive advantage to any other country really around the world, certainly to Europe and so many of the very established countries, they couldn't even remotely compete in what we.
When you think about the assets that you want to own in your portfolio, famous gold bug investor, macro trader Hugh Hendry says it well. You want to own the things that the U.S. government likes.
Implicit in everything that the US is doing to reject the dollar as a public good and to put a price around it, part of it is an embracement. Bitcoin is pro-public, pro-US government policy. And if you want to be long a risk asset, you bloody damn better be long the asset that the government likes. And they really like the Bitcoin.
And they like the Bitcoin. Here's some advice that he gives to the younger trader and investor if you want to make it these days.
The only way you're going to make it, I think, is to find the most volatile risk asset in a profound uptrend and buy as much as you can. Okay, because if you're right, you're going to print it. You're going to make big tickets. Okay, the alternative is, like belt and braces. You've got your VAR, you got your risk. You close out at the bottom, and you aim for a high Sharpe ratio. You make 6%. Like if you make 6% on 100 million, you ain't going to reach $1 billion in assets under management. Anyway, that's a sideshow.
Before we get to his thesis of why he and sovereign nations are moving towards Bitcoin and ditching gold, well, we've got to thank our sponsors. Ledin has been the leader in Bitcoin-backed loans since 2018. They've issued over $9 billion worth of loans to tens of thousands of customers and do so at an average time of just 18 hours after filling out the application, which takes just 2 minutes. This ease of use, speed, transparency, and frictionless process is why they have over 1,000 5-star customer reviews. They've never lost a single cent or sat of customer money and were one of the first digital lenders in the world to do a proof of reserves. They actually just did one about a month ago. So you can be safe that your Bitcoin is where they say it is. If you want a $2,000 loan, well, you have to post $4,000 worth of Bitcoin collateral. It's pretty simple. And rates start at just 12.4%. But for people that go to learn.ledn.io/simply, well, you get 0.25% off of your first loan, 12.15%. Go to learn.ledn.io/simply to get started today. We don't need to keep hammering all of the things that are going on with Coinbase right now. There's more and more information coming out saying that there's actually been a hack, people's information has been leaked. But one thing that you need to know about this whole situation is that you don't have to be a victim of any of these things when you take sovereignty of your Bitcoin and remove it from exchanges. The team at the Bitcoin Way will help you do that safely, privately, confidently, and securely. Because when your Bitcoin is on an exchange, on a screen or a dashboard, you have an IOU. You don't have real Bitcoin. Learn how to take control of your private keys the right way by scheduling a free 30-minute consultation with their team at thebitcoinway.com/simplybitcoin. That's thebitcoinway.com/simplybitcoin. Everyone keeps talking about this idea that the world is moving towards a gold standard. But what is that actually doing? What is that actually changing? The global dynamics geopolitically have not swung in anyone's favor relative to another country by just them buying more gold. If a central bank stacks more gold, well, they're going to be at the relative same place that they were to the other countries who also have that same amount of gold. Hugh Hendry points out this problem perfectly.
So the Chinese, I think, they've been buying gold and they're up to 5 or 6% of their foreign exchange reserves are denominated in gold. Would that change anything? Like you're an FX trader and they've gone to 6.5% gold to GDP, gold to foreign exchange reserves. Does that change anything? No. The third largest gold holder in the world, the Italians, they couldn't have their own currency. Even with almost like, I don't know, 20, 25% of it backed by gold. No one would touch lira. You needed euros. The Turks, they have a mountain of gold. Does it help when they're Looney Tunes in Ankara? What does gold bring to the sovereign balance sheet? We're not on a gold standard.
In the macro context, Hugh Hendry believes that Bitcoin is the asset with the best convexity, or the highest upside potential in volatility. He also believes that the Fed is going to align itself with the president, and that's going to mean that interest rates are going to have to fall. And when that happens, you know what Bitcoin does.
It's the real asset with the highest convexity. Because the other real assets are property, index-linked bonds, private equity, stock market. I can't conceive of any of them going up 10 times. So Bitcoin's the thing I've got to own. And I strategically or whatever, I think the Fed will follow the instructions of the president and interest rates. You know, I think this is a presidency that wishes to obliterate the rentier's privilege, which means interest rates have to come back down to 2010 levels.
With all of these factors going in one direction, being bullish for Bitcoin, he believes that the investment in Bitcoin is a no-brainer. Plus, it already has 15 years of a history and a track record to prove it. What more do you need to hear?
So it may be naivety and ignorance, but for me, I think 15 years or so has passed enough test of precedence to suggest, it's gold. I'd much rather buy Bitcoin. I'd much rather buy Bitcoin than gold. And I'd much rather do so because I'm greedy. And I think that the differences between the two are so slight that I think owing to the ease of ownership of Bitcoin and all of the utility, that I think Bitcoin has to trade at the same total capitalization as gold. So which is to say, I cannot conceive of gold trading 10 times higher, which would be $200 trillion, almost 10 times the size of the American economy, or twice the size of the global economy. I cannot conceive of that, but I can conceive of Bitcoin trading at $1 million, which is to say 10 times higher, that it doesn't change the fabric, the internal equilibrium of the universe if that happens. And so the probability of it happening is much greater, and therefore that's my portfolio.
Look, here's the deal. Only 0.27% of the population can own one Bitcoin. It's just math. There's a 21 million fixed supply, or 2.1 quadrillion Satoshis for all the people who want to look at Bitcoin that way. You've got people like Hugh Hendry selling his house to gobble up as much Bitcoin as he can. What are you waiting for? This is an asset with multiple tailwinds. You've got people buying burgers and shakes with it all across the United States. You have global investors that are buying it, holding it, and recommending it more and more into their portfolios. You've got the son of the President of the United States talking about Bitcoin mining and buying Bitcoin not through an OTC desk, but actually creating it. The onus is on you at this point. One of the ways you can continue to invest in yourself in Bitcoin in this journey is by going to Bitcoin conferences. And the largest Bitcoin conference in the world is happening from May 27th through May 29th at the Venetian Hotel in Las Vegas for the Bitcoin Conference 2025. Use the code SIMPLY for 10% off your ticket. I hear that JD Vance is speaking. I hear that David Bailey is giving out $100 worth of Bitcoin to people that buy Steak and Shake. There's all sorts of craziness that you're going to see and that's going to happen. There's fireworks every single year that the Bitcoin conference happens. Go to b.tc/conference/2025 and use the promo code SIMPLY for 10% off. If you get value from these videos, please do like and share them. And if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel. This is Dante Cook with Bitcoin Simply. Happy stacking.